Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Foliage. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So guys, today I'm going to show you how to use Cocopeat and how to store the remaining part of the Cocopeat. Now guys, I purchase a lot of my gardening material from Trust Basket. One, because they are from Bangalore and my orders tend to reach to me very quickly. So I always prefer to go with Trust Basket, just like their name. They are very trustworthy company and I've never had any issues with Trust Basket, be it Cocopeat, be it pots, or even for that matter soil. So now, because this Cocopeat is of 5 kgs but it's in a compressed form, so it is very easy to store it back. But if you're going to use the entire amount of Cocopeat, then because it's in a compressed form, the moment you're going to add water, it's going to turn 3 to 4 times of its size. So if you do not have a lot of space, like I do not have a lot of space to store once it's completely watered, a lot of you guys also live in apartments wherein you have very small balconies which you have converted into gardens, and it is going to be very difficult if you're going to use the entire portion of Cocopeat, because as I said, it's going to turn 3 to 4 times of its size. If you're going to use the entire thing, it will be very difficult to store it back, because once you add water, the compressed Cocopeat will open up, so it's going to be very difficult for you to store it back again. So the best is, what you can do is always go for a huge piece of Cocopeat, because it becomes very easy, it becomes economical. Because if you're going to order smaller pieces of Cocopeat, then you tend to run out on Cocopeat, and as you know, the current situation, a lot of lockdowns and a lot of delays in delivery, so at times you might order the Cocopeat and it might get stuck in transit. So it's better that you buy a huge chunk like this and then just store it in compressed form. So as you can see, all the instructions are mentioned on the packaging itself, so it becomes very easy to understand how to use Cocopeat. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take out the Cocopeat and I'm going to show you, see how compressed it is. Now in case if you open this, or if you're going to add water into it, it's going to absorb water and it's going to turn 3 to 4 times of its size. So it's always better that you just take a very little portion from this packaging and then you can store the remaining back. So I've done a small incision and I'm going to cut it with a blade. Now you can either use blade, knife, scissors won't be very effective because this Cocopeat is in its compressed form and it is very difficult to cut. But guys, if you do not have a lot of space, then this method is the best method what I'm suggesting, because as I said, once it is expanded, it's very difficult to store, especially if you have very little space. Now as you can see, I have taken a very little amount of Cocopeat, and you will be able to see with only just little amount of this Cocopeat is going to turn out to be so much once I add water. So as you can see, I have taken enough chunk of Cocopeat which I'm going to be using for my potting, and the rest of it I have just put it back into the same bag that I had got from Trust Basket. Now again, this bag is made out of plastic, so you do not need to be worried that it's going to come in contact with water. But again guys, once it has been opened, you have to store it in a cool, dry place. Please do not keep it in a place where it rains or wherein there are chances of water coming in contact with Cocopeat, because you can imagine this packet is open. If the water is going to fall into it, it will start to expand. So you need to be extremely careful. Just close it tightly. And now, because it's still in its compressed form, you can easily either keep it above the cupboard or above the shelf, or you can even keep it in your balcony, or probably you can use another plastic and cover it and just keep it aside. So guys, as you can see, you do not need to have so many buckets to store all the unused Cocopeat once it is opened up. So this is the best way what I found. Now whenever I need to use Cocopeat, I can just use this bag, open the bag and take as much as I want and then put it back again. Now guys, these are the Cocopeat chunks that I've taken from the cocoa brick. So you can see right now the amount and the quantity looks very less, but as soon as I start adding water, you will be able to see that how quickly it starts to expand. So as soon as I start adding water, the first thing you'll notice is the color will start turning dark, and you'll be able to see that the volume of Cocopeat is starting to increase. As and when the water starts coming in contact with the dry Cocopeat, it will start getting double in size. Over here as well, you can see how quickly it starts to absorb the water and starts increasing in volume. So guys, over here, as you can see, I have completely put in all the water and have mixed it. Now usually what I tend to do is I let it sit for at least 24 hours before I use it for my plants. If you want, you can use it directly as well. But what I tend to do is once I add water, I let the coco peat sit in the same water for at least 24 hours. And the next day what I do is I squeeze out all the excess water from coco peat and then mix it with soil. I will be making another video on soil mix wherein I am mixing the coco peat. So I'm going to do a complete video on soil mix for foliage plants. So you will be able to get a better idea. Now the reason why guys we have to add soil, we cannot only use coco peat as a growing media because coco peat alone does not have any nutritional value. There are no nutrients in coco peat. It's just a growing media that has to be used with some other additions like soil, perlite, pumice, sand. You can use any of the following, but growing a foliage plant only in coco peat won't work out very well because it alone does not have any nutritional value. So you will have to mix it with sand, soil or perlite or pumice, and time and again you will have to add some fertilizers or nutrients to the soil in order for the plant to grow healthy. So guys, as you can see now over here, the coco peat that was lighter in color is completely dark in color, and you can see it's quite wet. As of now, it's not completely soaked up the water. It will take some time, so I will be adding in a little bit more of water and let it rest for at least 24 hours before it's ready to use. So guys, I hope that this video on coco peat was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep planting.